You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Chiro Sushi, Barbara Eaton's 56-day chiropractic boot camp, California Jam, Move Well University, the Black Diamond Club, Pure Chiro Notes, the Chiro Dex app, Dr. Alok Trivedi, Chiro Spark, Chirogram, Chiropractic Wealth Management, 8 Weeks to Wellness, Integrative Freedom, and Element Mattresses. Let's hustle. So Jim Chester here with the Chiro Hustle Podcast. This is an evening edition of the Chiro Hustle Podcast live stream. I got Dr. Randy Johns with me out there on the West Coast, Cali. I am in the Grand Valley of Grand Junction here in Colorado. Beautiful out here. Been a resident here for 19 days and transitioning. I want to throw a shout out to our sponsor. Our sponsor of the show tonight is Todd Calamita with Chiro Wealth Management. If you guys want your bank accounts and your financial futures unsubluxated, reach out to he's not a doctor, Todd Calamita. He'll help you guys out. But Dr. Randy is my guest tonight, and we're going to dive right into what he's been doing and what him and his team, Dr. Rob Vasquez with Happy Healthy Guys are doing. So Dr. Randy, welcome to the show.
Hey, buddy. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you, man. I love you, dude. Love the show.
Thanks,
thanks for all you do. And I'm glad to see that transition with your new life. You're getting situated, and that's cool, man. So thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. You know, we've already talked for like 27 minutes off camera. So you guys actually missed the best parts of all this, but we'll do our best to rehash it and to make it relevant and give you the good parts that we discussed earlier. So first thing that we're going to jump right into is we're going to talk about what is the ketabolic lifestyle, or what is the ketabolic word? What does that mean?
Yeah, so kind of invented the word a little bit. But, it's the hot new trend is a ketogenic diet where you eat a lot of fat and burn fat for fuel versus sugar. In my experience, it was a really hard strategy to follow. Because you're eating a lot of grams of fat for every gram of protein, restricting a lot of the carbohydrates that you may love and that are full of nutrients. So, we basically had developed a system to get your body into fat burning and cycle in and out of it without having to be on a full ketogenic diet. And it was kind of born, once again, we talked about it. It was born out of tragedy with me and going through a health scare with cancer. And so the last 7 years, it was kind of in the making. And now we've released it so people can use it. It's actually it's a 21-day method where we shift your metabolism from being reliant on glucose or sugar, which most people are, which is very inflammatory and aging and bulking, moving them into burning fat for energy to lower inflammation and get the mental clarity, reduce pain. And it's incredible for burning body fat and keeping yourself healthy and lean and optimizing all the anti-aging immune boosting hormones like growth hormone and testosterone, leptin, glucagon, and we can talk about some of that. But really simple method, and it's the method that I live, and it's the method Dr. Rob lives. And now we've been teaching it to thousands of patients clinically, and now we have it as an online program that makes it really simple to follow.
So before we go into the next question, tell people where they can find that, because I know some people dip in and out of these things. So let's just share with them where to find out more information on it right away.
Yeah, I think I sent you that link. It was a Bitly.
You did send that to me. Let me see if I can copy and paste that as we're talking. But as doing that, we'll just go right into talking about how fasting can reset the immune system.
Yeah, so let me go back. I was talking to you, our uncut version before we went live, about how a lot of this happened for me. So I remember as a kid growing up and even into high school, I was very insecure. I was a late bloomer, and I got really fascinated with the muscle guys, like the Arnold Schwarzeneggers of the world and all the muscle mags, and started reading everything I could get my hands on, because flat out I was just a skinny kid and I wanted to you want to look better and feel good about yourself. So I got really hyper focused on eating lots of food and working out all the time. And by doing that, I was able to keep myself at like 185, 190 pounds, super lean. It was basically a bodybuilding lifestyle. and I wasn't even a bodybuilder, so I'm bulking myself to look and feel my best, which is nothing wrong with wanting to look and feel your best. But the problem was that strategy was literally killing me, Jim. And I was eating 6 and 7 times a day, 300 grams of protein, working out. I was addicted to exercise, and I was in a bulking, growing place in my life. And the reality is you really don't want to grow after about, 18 years old. Now you want to make sure your body's in a repair mode. So I was insulin dependent with my lifestyle. And many of you listening, Jim, and you are insulin dependent. And you're saying, but Dr. Randy, I'm not on any insulin. I'm like, yes, you are. You're secreting insulin nonstop every time you eat and snack. You're giving your body insulin on a daily basis in inappropriate amounts. And what insulin does, it bulks you, it ages you, and it makes you big. And so that's what I was doing. So when I got sick with cancer, when I got the diagnosis, I started really looking at my lifestyle. I started now cutting my meals down from going to 6 or 7 meals down to 4 or 3 to really kind of bring down inflammation and get my body more into a fat burning state. Because it's amazing when you don't eat, there's another hormone called glucagon. You ever heard of glucagon?
Nope. It sounds scientific.
Yeah, it is a little bit, but not so. Insulin, right? So every time you eat, your body has to secrete insulin.
Well, because Dr. Randy, because everybody's always told people about diabetic people that insulin's like one of those factors, like your insulin level's low or it's high, and it comes from sugar. You either have a high blood sugar or low blood sugar. That's what I know about it.
Yeah, totally. And obviously, refined carbohydrates and sugar have the biggest insulin response, but protein will trigger insulin. The right fats have the least insulin impact, which is another reason to eat lots of good healthy fats, which we'll talk about. But so in this insulin dependent lifestyle, man, you're basically aging yourself and you're putting yourself in a place where you're inflamed. So glucagon is the hormone opposite to insulin. And you'll never tap into that hormone if you're snacking and eating every 2 to 3 hours. You've got to give your body a chance not to eat. Nobody ever died from missing a meal that I'm aware of. Right? So by giving your body maybe 4, 5, 6 hours before you would eat again, now you can release glucagon. And when you release the hormone glucagon, that's really your snack. And it's going to help optimize human growth hormone. And guys, this is the holy grail of anti-aging and wellness. And you have this hormone in your body. So I moved my body from eating all day long to now eating a couple, 3 times a day in a very short window to optimize glucagon, leptin, growth hormone, and minimize the insulin load of my body. And I had to do that because I was so inflamed with that lifestyle. There was no way I was ever going to balance my hormones or potentially risk a reoccurrence of cancer, because I can tell you there's no more powerful strategy that you can do is to give your body a chance to not have to constantly be eating food. And our ancestors, do you think they had access to food all the time? It doesn't really make any sense. There were times when you had food. Of course, there were times when you didn't have food. So our body is adapted to live that way and get very, very efficient at scavenging and using your own body fat for energy. And that's really what the ketabolic method does. We help tap into that life where you can still have plenty of great nutrient-rich real food, but move your metabolism over to burning fat versus sugar, and you can do it very, very quickly and no longer be insulin dependent, and now really use glucagon to your advantage to optimize all those hormones and get yourself out of inflammation and into fat burning.
So I heard you say something that was like it was light bulb flashed off in my head. You said it's really good for men because it does certain things to our bodies. It gives us HGH. It gives us it eats like the fat off of our whatever you said, like the organs, like, and then it eats like it eats the visceral fat, the adipose fat, like these big fancy words for fat, and it actually builds lean muscle. Now, what does it do for women that do this type of technique with fasting?
Yeah, and so with women, it's very common that there's a lot of hormonal imbalances, right? You've got a lot of different hormonal body types you can see when you deposit or hang on to fat. So whether it's an ovarian problem, a liver, a thyroid, an adrenal. So you cannot balance hormones if you're insulin dependent, because when you're in that inflamed state, all your cells have receptors, and those hormones can't attach to those cells when your body's in this inflammatory state. So balancing hormones is a key. So for women, it's critical to get their body into fat burning and away from sugar burning to help them balance that. And what's interesting is the research shows that a 24-hour fast. So, and the way I like to do it is, maybe you had your dinner at 6 p.m. You wouldn't eat again till dinner the next night at 6 p.m. That's a 24-hour fast. You boost your growth hormone 1,300% for women and 2,000% for men. So it's basically, that's your Botox right there. That's the anti-wrinkle cream, is the growth hormone. And not to mention, like we talked about just then, it's going to target and burn away abnormal body fat, the fat around the viscera and the organs. It's going to optimize all the anti-aging spectrum, and all those hormones work beautifully together when you burn fat. So I think it's huge for men, for women, and it's really easy to do. You just need a little bit of coaching and a little help. But the first step is stop snacking and eating all day long, because the strategy right there is what I used to do. And you're an insulin dependent, you're in a bulking strategy, it's going to age you quickly. You're going to stay inflamed. You're definitely not going to hold your chiropractic adjustment very well, right? Right? You put the force in chiropractically, the body receives it. An inflamed body doesn't receive it that well. So just for overall neurological integrity as well, Jim, you want to keep your body in the lowest inflammatory state possible. And, I do a lot of fasting and have been now for almost 8 years. I just came off a 3-day fast, which was intense. And I did it for a lot of reasons. I don't know if you want to go down that road now. Did you have any more questions, or what do you think, man?
Yeah, I was going to go fast and furious with some really tough things to ask you. And, just I'm going to play like the person that's like considering doing this, because I am considering doing this. Like we talked about this, and I appreciate you will be reaching out to me for support as I go through my first 24-hour fast starting sometime in February. But you're going to give me some guidance on that and how to do that properly. And I think it's going to do a lot for me, because now the question is, so say somebody's going through this and they live an active lifestyle and they want to go to the gym and work out and they're not eating. I know that could be something that might not be suggested, or what would you say if somebody is living a healthy, active lifestyle and they quit eating for a day? Like, what is that going to do to them?
Yeah, well, on fasted days of that magnitude, I don't work out on those days, right?
Okay.
But when I do work out, I'm always in a fasted state. So usually when I'm working out, I'm coming off a 12, 14, 16, maybe 18-hour fast. And I go to the gym because my body's fat adapted. And so I have got plenty of energy, plenty of muscle strength, and I've got growth hormone coursing through my veins. And so your workout, you're going to burn more fat, build more lean muscle tissue in that state than you would in an insulin-dependent state where you're taking food before you go, or chugging down protein shakes and glucose packets, or drinking your Gatorade. You're just destroying your body by doing that. You don't need that. Your body, listen, on my little frame, I'm 168 pounds now. I'm a shell of myself, but I'm a healthier version of myself because I only eat once or twice a day now. But even on my frame at about 8 to 10% body fat, I've got well over 50,000 calories of body fat that I can tap into for energy. Is that enough energy to get you through a workout? I'd say so, right? It's plenty of energy. So the fear, one of the fears with fasting and missing meals, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that if you miss a meal or don't obviously eat all the time, you're going to lose all your muscle. And so have you ever heard that or believed that at all?
Well, I think that people are afraid of losing their energy. And I think that we've actually coined phrases of hangry, and like people get hungry, angry. Like if you told me I wasn't going to eat for a day, I'd tell you to go F off. Like, I'm like, why would I think that that's a good idea to not eat for a day? But now let's talk about that. Like, tell me the mental challenges with people when it comes to somebody considering fasting, and what people can do to like retrain themselves to like say, it's okay to challenge myself because the greater good is after this phase is over.
Yeah, and just to go back to the hangry statement, if you ever get hangry, you're either are a diabetic or you're a pre-diabetic, because there's no way you should skip a meal and blood sugar drop in 2, 3, 4 hours to feel like that. That means you're really burning sugar for energy versus burning fat. So, and that's where the ketabolic method can help retrain your metabolism to burn that fat. But yeah, from a mental place too, you really got to get into that state. And really that's why I did my 3-day fast. I usually do a 3-day because of the mental component of it. And I'm going through a season in my life, Jim, right now. I'm having to make a lot of tough decisions. And to make the best decisions, you want to be mentally clear and on point with everything that you're doing. And it's incredible when you fast and you give up those things that you crave and that you think you need, because a lot of it is mental. When you give those things up, man, you give your body a chance to really become so aware with everything that you're doing, the thoughts that you think. I was even telling you before we jumped on air that when I go to sleep, like my dreams are more powerful. Like I get the BJ thought flashes, man, where you got to write that stuff down, because you're getting all those clear thoughts. You're getting wisdom in a way you can never get when you're constantly eating and just, meeting all your selfish needs. Like, I've got to have this, or I deserve that, or I'm going to eat this because I did this. You've really got to look at it differently and go, I'm going to do this because, I want to make an impact in other people's lives, whatever you do. And to do that, you always have to be at your best. The fasting for me, there's nothing more powerful that gets me in that place where I can get really clear with the decisions that I make. Fasting's not a new thing. It's been around for thousands of years. Maybe Christ was onto something there, And now the science supports all the spiritual and mental components along with all the health benefits. And in that 3-day, you get that immune system reset. So you tap into stem cell and regenerate immune system tissue. So you can completely reset your immune system in 3 days. Like, what would they charge? What would the medical system charge, Jim, for a shot or a pill? Clearly, it would be impossible. You can't inject or swallow health. But what if they had a pill you could take that would do that? What would they charge? It's like $100,000, and you get it for free.
So let's go back to the idea that somebody's going to do this for their first time, and they're like, yeah, you aren't going to get me to not eat for a day, or yeah, good luck getting me to not eat for 3 days. And lo and behold, you said 5 days. Get the hell out of here. Because I saw earlier in the year that some people were challenging themselves to not eat for 5 days and go on a water fast, and I'm like, that's bonkers. But let's talk about like the slow roll and how people can adapt themselves to this type of a lifestyle.
Yeah, so I like to prep myself going into a fasted state. So I use our SCT oil therapeutically several days before I do the fast, because that's going to start priming your metabolism to move over to fat burning versus sugar burning. You could also use like some coconut oil, some MCT oil, some grass-fed butter, maybe even like some clarified butter or ghee. But those really medium and shorter chain fats are great for priming the metabolism for fat burning. Of course, we talked about our 21-day ketabolic method. It actually is that's really what I do to prep myself, because it's just keeping my body fat adapted for 3 weeks. And when I do that, the fast is super, super easy. So a starting place is add more healthy fat. Maybe try getting your feeding window into at least 12 hours versus just waking up and eating. Maybe you don't eat breakfast till a little bit later in the day. So, if you ate dinner at 8 o'clock at night, don't eat before 8 o'clock the next day. And that way a 12-hour window would give your body a little bit of a break, help trigger a little bit of autophagy where your body starts burning off diseased tissue, gets really fat adapted. That would help tremendously going into a fast, especially if you're going to be doing a 3 or a 5 day. And then coming out of it, you can move right back into those same strategies. You can move back into our ketabolic method, the re-entry point. I like to re-enter a fast coming off with some bone broth, some good short chain fats like our SCT oil. Fermented vegetables are phenomenal, maybe like some goat kefir, some fermented foods, things that are going to nourish your gut and give it like a brine, or those gut shots now you can buy. You've got those fermented beverages, kimchi. Those are all things that can nourish the gut. During the fast too, I know I'm jumping around a little bit everywhere, but during the fast, a lot of times I'll use humic and fulvic acids for gut support, and which is pretty powerful. I'll use trace mineral salts that have over 80 trace minerals to help with hydration. So I'm drinking tons of water. I'm hitting the trace mineral salts, the humic fulvic acids. Sometimes I'll do like a Tulsi tea detox, which is an adaptogen, will help support the immune system. Still not taking in any calories, but giving my body healthy, clean liquids. Kombucha is also another great liquid to break a fast with because it's got tons of probiotics and natural raw enzymes. So there's priming, there's going through it and re-entry. And a lot of that is pretty important if you're going to succeed and get the best result, because a fast shouldn't be torture. And if it sounds like torture to you, you really probably should get your body fat adapted, because if you're burning sugar and you go cold turkey into a fast, it could be a challenge, and it could cause some headaches, some nausea, and some sickness that may not be comfortable.
So I have another question. Then we're going to take a quick break, acknowledge people that are on the feed with us. And then if anybody does have questions while we do this, please put them into the chat so Dr. Randy can answer them for you. This isn't just me and him having a chit chat. We do want to add massive value to you. So if you do have questions about fat adapting or the ketabolic diet for the 21 days that they do, or the SCT oil, please put those questions down there in the chat for us. But I think that, I'm just going to go through the role here and here's one. Great conversation. Love the questions as well answered. Jimmy Lopez, he's been on since the jump. Great dude. Love Jimmy. Andrea Moran says, amazing. We got Dr. Tim McFadden on. What's up, Jim and Randy? Love that dude. He's always up in the game for the chiropractic. He's a powerhouse, man. A lot of people that want to network should get on his ChiroDex app. They're also a sponsor of the Chiro Hustle podcast. Love Dr. Tim McFadden. We will see him out at CalJam, I believe. And then Kat Sarah, she absolutely said, Dr. Randy is a wealth of knowledge and has taught me the principle. So there you have Dr. Kat Sarah said that you've made a profound impact on her. And then Dr. Rob Vasquez, your partner, obviously says, hashtag happy healthy guys. And what's up, fellas? So he was our first comment. And I think our conversation's going really well. We'll wait to see if some people throw in some questions there for us. But here's one. Do you recommend not eating past a certain time in the evening?
Yeah, no, I think it's great. You really want to optimize that sleeping time to get all the benefits of the repair, because we know that, all of the organ systems slow down when you go to bed except one, the nervous system. It actually speeds up because it's using that time to repair. It doesn't need to worry about digesting food or fighting off some toxic effect from eating processed foods or anything. Give the body a break. Let the immune system take a rest. Let the digestive system take a rest. Let your nervous system speed up and create healing. And let all those fat-burning anti-aging hormones do their job. So you're going to optimize that leptin, that glucagon, that growth hormone. And that's the beauty of that, is when you don't eat, you can wake up now hitting a workout in that fasted state with those hormones at their peak level. You're going to burn a ton more fat and get a lot more energy from that. So great question. And I think it's perfect too, because one of the myths about fasting or not eating is that you burn away muscle. I want to go back to that because I know a lot of people have asked me that. You think about if you were stranded in a desert, Jim, you had clean water, but you didn't have food. So your body is going to burn through your glucose stores. And your body will store glucose as glycogen in the muscle and liver tissue. You're going to burn through that in about 24 to 48 hours. Your body doesn't then go to muscle for fuel. It goes to fat, because if it went to muscle and started burning muscle for energy, you'd be dead in days. So your body's never trying to kill you. It's always trying to heal you. It's always doing the right thing under the circumstances. Your body goes from burning through the glycogen straight to burning fat. Then when it burns through all the fat, then it would go to muscle and then you die. So we want to play on that principle of burning through glycogen stores and moving into fat burning. And there's no better way. There's no supplement you can take that's going to do that. It's going to happen by getting control of your nutrition, eating real foods, adding healthy fats, and giving your body a break from eating all day long. Give that body a chance to not eat, at least in a 12-hour window, I like to do 6-hour windows, but don't worry, you're not going to lose muscle. You're going to burn more fat.
You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Chiro Sushi, Barbara Eaton's 56-day chiropractic boot camp, California Jam, Move Well University, the Black Diamond Club, Pure Chiro Notes, the Chiro Dex app, Dr. Alok Trivedi, Chiro Spark, Chirogram, Chiropractic Wealth Management, 8 Weeks to Wellness, Integrative Freedom, and Element Mattresses. Let's hustle.
So one of our greatest Chiro Hustle followers is Salvador Ortega. This guy is always sharing my post. I just want to say, hey man, I love you coming on all the time. This guy comes on from Mexico. He shares almost every live that I do with his audience. So kudos to you, brother. Thank you for always supporting what we're doing and sharing more chiropractic truth out there. I know right now we're talking about the subluxation. One of the pillars of health is eating right. And I know, Dr. Randy, you say a lot about, what did you say? Fat adapting and the fasting and the human growth hormone and the cellular repair and like your nervous system works while you're sleeping. But that all sounds like flying over my head at the moment. So what does it look like when somebody does like a fat adapting like protocol on a typical day? Like, how does that look for somebody?
Yeah, I think one of the keys to that is, we've kind of been in this no fat era, right? Where we were taught to really stay away from fat. We replaced fat with more carbohydrate. So we wanted to, in order to control hormones and get into a fat adapted state, you have to reduce the insulin load. And the best way to do that is to replace refined and excess carbohydrate, which has the biggest insulin response, to healthy fats, which have the lowest insulin response. You want to moderate your protein. You don't want to eat too much protein. That's the biggest mistake I see, Jim, with health nuts everywhere, is they're crushing protein. And protein, your body will still make sugar from the protein. It's very easy to do. The body can do that. And if you're eating too much protein, you'll really never get into fat burning. So that was a mistake I made back in my bulking days of eating all the protein. So keep your protein moderate. I went from eating about 250 grams of protein a day, now down to about maybe 60, 80 at the most. So moderate the protein, minimize any fake food from carbohydrates, focus on your low sugar fruits and fibrous rich vegetables, and then eat those healthy fats. And then begin to do that in a tighter window. So minimally 12 hours. So from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. the next morning, you're not eating any food. But then maybe try to move it down to 10, maybe down to 8. I do about a 6-hour window for me, mixed in with at least one 24-hour fast every week or every couple of weeks. So maybe start there, or maybe just a couple, 3 days a week. Maybe just skip breakfast. I didn't have your first meal at lunch. And don't break your fast with sugar. Break it with real food and break it with healthy fats. So I think those are some tips that people can start implementing and start seeing some incredible changes.
And Dr. Rob says, replace carbs with healthy fats. And I think that that's true, but let's talk about the dark side of this. Say somebody's going through this and they stumble and they're like, I can't make it through my first day. What would you say to encourage them to maybe try it again?
Yeah, well, if I quit every time I made a mistake, I'd never get off the couch, So I screwed up all the time. That's life. So that's the beauty of when your body gets fat adapted and you give your body time where it's not eating, you get a little more wiggle room, so to say. So, there's a process called autophagy that happens when you're not eating. Are you familiar with autophagy, Jim, at all?
It might as well be a foreign word to me.
So autophagy is one of the most phenomenal states your body can go into. What it does, autophagy is from the Greek word self-eating. So you're literally eating yourself. So when you stop eating in those 12, 14, 16-hour windows that we're talking about, your body starts to get rid of like all the dysfunctional cellular parts and starts recycling these parts for energy. It'll even use pathogenic bacteria for fuel in your body when you're in this state of autophagy. Plus, you're going to optimize, like we talked about, the leptin, the glucagon, all the anti-aging hormones. So you're literally making and producing ketone bodies, which is what people try to do when they get in that ketogenic diet. Your body's going to start making those ketogenic components. So you're going to get away with a lot more. So if you made a mistake in your window, but you gave yourself that 12, 14, 16 hours you didn't eat, you just got away with a whole lot more than you could have ever gotten away with if you were eating and snacking all day. So I don't eat perfect and I make mistakes. I don't have that second bottle of wine sometimes, but I do it in those windows that allow me to get that wiggle room and to make a few more mistakes. You get away with a lot more nutritionally if you eat in a smaller window, not really eating less, but more eating less often, right? You're eating food. You're not calorie restricting, but eat it in those tighter windows, replace the sugar with the fats. If you make a mistake, it's okay, man. We all do. We're here for you. That's why I think, man, I hate to go back to, but that's why I think our ketabolic method is so revolutionary, is because anybody can do it. And it's just 21 days, and you can really ease somebody into that fat adapted state where what will happen is those cravings start to shift and change. Because when you're burning sugar, you're craving more carbs and sugar. When you're burning fat, all your hunger starts to go away. So you make a lot better decisions versus using willpower, which we know will fail you, right? You can now use really, you can actually neurologically condition your brain to tell your body to want to burn fat, and those cravings will diminish. So that's what I would have to say to that. Long answer, I apologize.
No. I love the conversation. I think that the audience that's out there is loving what you're sharing with them. Otherwise, they would have all tailed off by now. But I think that let's transition a little bit. I know you do something really cool with Dr. Rob. Let's talk about Happy Healthy Guys and why you guys started doing that. And I know I got like 2 or 3 more questions down here. But let's first talk about Healthy Happy Guys and what you guys are doing with that momentum that you've started.
Yeah, we'll go through this quick. I want to get to all the questions for sure. So the Happy Healthy Guys, this is really it's the funnest thing that I do in my life right now. I love it so much because it's my best friend, Dr. Rob Vasquez. We always wanted to do something together. Of course, we're chiropractors by trade and have done certain businesses together and have certain ventures, but nothing ever felt like this. So this was our opportunity, Jim, to come together and share our stories and do it together, because it's always more fun doing things together. Nobody wins alone, right? Nobody wins alone. And so, I've got this story of almost dying of cancer and then naturally recovering in literally months, doing things in a way that to most people really can't even believe to understand it. And I want to share that story with other people. And Dr. Rob, blew out his lower back. I think it was over a 10 millimeter herniation, almost certain back surgery, and overcame it without any drugs or surgery through chiropractic care, through CBP, through Pete Harrison, the whole host of nutritional protocols, reducing inflammation. So his story is very powerful too. So our stories were so powerful and was inspiring people. And so it's like we wanted to create a system built around our stories with the strategies and the things that we've been teaching clinically for collectively 30 plus years, and now put it into a way where people can start using these same strategies. Because we're doctors, we've got multiple degrees, but what makes us connectable is we're just like you, man. We've struggled. We know what it feels like to go through something horrible, to be scared, to be frustrated, but we also know what it feels like to come out on the other side of that and get victory. We want to help give that to people, inspire them, lead them, coach them, encourage them, give them access to all the things that we use on a daily basis, not only that we use to overcome our health challenge, but that we use daily to stay healthy, well, and be at our best. So there you go.
No, that's really cool. And I feel really blessed to be able to have gotten to know both of you guys over the past couple of months. And I think the sky's the limit with what we can do together as Chiro, good soldiers. And I think that, I love that terminology of good soldier for the chiropractic truth. And I think that we need more good soldiers out there that are doing the work that it takes to get more people influenced into the chiropractic lifestyle. And I love how you guys have just really cornered into the idea that we're going to take one of the pillars of health, and that's your diet. And if you start following these principles about your diet, the motion of your body is going to improve. Your quality of thinking is going to improve, and then you're going to be less inflamed. You're going to be less subluxated. You're going to hold your adjustments better. So it really is supporting the chiropractic lifestyle. And I think that what you guys are doing with Happy Healthy Guys is it's really beautiful. And I think that you guys are helping a ton of people. And I think that people, it's the knowledge that will set people free, but it's the action with the knowledge that will give them the better quality of life. And I think that everybody is getting knowledge, and we're sharing knowledge every day. That's why I've committed to putting out 365 interviews in 2018. And that's why I know that people they're thirsty for information. They just don't know who to trust for it. So I think that the Happy Healthy Guys movement is really solid. And you guys are both doctors. You guys have both gone through your struggles. You guys near-death experience, 12 millimeter herniation in Dr. Rob's back. And, people they need leaders, and they need people to tell them the right things to do and where to go for this information. So kudos to you guys for being good soldiers for chiropractic. And I love the fact that you guys have come together with me, and I can integrate with my ability to have more of a, if you will, like the anchorman technique to be able to share everyone's message. I think it's a really a cool place for me to sit, because I get a chance to interact with the smartest people in the profession. And now I can make friends with the smartest people in the profession. And now I can interact with them and, put them into other smart people, which I think is freaking awesome. So the Chiro Hustle thing isn't just about like self-gratification, or it's not just about creating value for people's ears. It's about creating relationships with people in the chiropractic world that I know, like, and trust. And then when I see somebody that needs somebody like you, I can say, oh, Dr. Randy's the guy. Just like the guy I said, Christopher J. Collins with Chirogram, who's a sponsor of us, is like, if you want to learn how to make your Instagram take off, hire him, this morning, Pam Jarboe and Barbara Eaton interviewed each other. I introduced them together. You think that they'd have been in the profession for 30 years apiece or something, they'd have gotten to know each other by now. But I think connecting the dots for success is something that I really believe in. And I think that that's something that you guys are doing for your following and your tribe. So kudos, man. I love it. Now the next thing is the SCT oil. What the hell is that? Tell us what SCT oil is. What is the component?
So I got a message the other day, and the lady was asking, hey, we went out, my husband and I went out tonight trying to find SCT oil, and none of the stores carry it. Where do you get this stuff? And I'm like, great question. This product didn't exist a few months ago. It was Rob and I created this product, and it was born out of the things that we went through and looking for a fat to support our protocol. So SCT oil is a short chain triglyceride oil. So you've got long chain triglycerides, you got medium chain triglycerides. Man, this SCT oil, brother, have you tried it yet, Jim? Have you?
Actually, it's a shame that I haven't. I'm going through my MCT oil still.
That's all right, man.
I have the bulletproof MCT, so I still have some, and I won't falsify and say I've tried it. It's still in my cabinet.
Oh, it's gonna happen, man. We were trying to help people no longer have disaster pants. All right, we're on a cruise today. So SCT oil, it's the shorter the chain, the more highly absorbable it is, and the more stable it is under heat, light, and oxygen. So this stuff goes right into the portal vein, directly to the liver, zero bile or pancreatic activity. So it's perfect for priming the metabolism to burn fat, for getting the body out of inflammation, and it gives the preferred short chain fats for gut health, butyric acid, the colon, for the immune system. So it's a superfood oil, and it really has made a lot of other oils obsolete that we used to use. Not that you wouldn't use an MCT on occasion if you chose, or a coconut oil. But including this into your lifestyle, especially if you're wanting to get in that fat adapted state, we haven't found anything that works any better than this pure SCT oil. So sctoil.com is the only place you can get it now. But we do have a wholesale account for doctors. We have an affiliate program if you've got an online storefront. So you can carry it, bake it into your protocols for your patients. Your patients are going to love it. And we created that product too. If nobody bought it, we would have it because we made it for ourselves. We're kind of selfish. We love
Yeah, that's really cool. And if anybody wants more information, they can go to Happy Healthy Guys. They can also go to SCT. Is it SCT.com?
It's sctoil.com. Yeah.
sctoil.com. So people that do want to start practicing more of a healthy lifestyle with intermittent fasting, and you've had so many big words and so many long, things that people should be doing. But I hope that everybody will listen to the replay of this. If you do have questions, please personal message me or Dr. Randy. We'd both love to be advocates for you guys living more of a chiropractic lifestyle. Is there anything that I didn't ask you'd like to talk to our audience about?
Man, you did a great job. I would say, I never want to lose the essence of what my heart is and what Dr. Rob's heart is and what we do with the Happy Healthy Guys. But I mean, our chiropractic philosophy is just everything that we do. Ultimately that saved my life. It wasn't really the treatments I got in Spain, which were amazing, but it was the strength that the chiropractic principle gave me, Jim, to know that my body was designed to be healthy, that health is the norm, disease is the abnorm, and that cancer was really a symptom of a body not adapting. And my journey led me to Spain because I wanted to work with doctors who wanted to honor that principle. And that's how I was able to get well, is I had to support my body. That's how Dr. Rob avoided back surgery. He knew that his body, if your body can heal a broken bone, right? If it can heal a cut, it can heal anything if given the right opportunity, right? There's no incurable disease. There's only incurable people. And I've always said this, that people don't need chiropractic care from birth to death. They need no interference, right? That's our principle. So everything we teach and do revolves around that core value of honoring the greatest doctor in the world, which lives inside each and every one of us. So that's really my message, will always be my message. I'll sing it from the mountaintops to the day that I die, because when more people get that, we really begin to change more lives. It won't be the adjustment. It'll be the principle. It'll be understanding that the body has this amazing ability to heal. Honoring those principles is what's really going to be the difference maker at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I'm just going to end with a quick little story. Last night I was out with my co-creator Luke Millette, and I met a 21-year-old guy, and he was talking to me about chiropractic. He's a gearhead. The guy's an engineer, and he's like asking me about my car. And I'm like, dude, I don't own a car. And he's like, what? Like, he was shocked. And he asked me like what we do for a living. And I say, we run a podcast, and I do promos, and I do all kinds of stuff in the chiropractic world. And he was shocked. He's like, so are those the people that put pins into you? I'm like, dude, I was like, I'm just going to sit you down on my knee for a minute, and I'm going to tell you the chiropractic philosophy. And I was like, the body needs nothing extra in it, brother. I was like, it just simply needs no interference. And when you go see a chiropractor, it's not about cracking your bones, or, it's about taking the pressure off the nervous system so your body flows the way it's supposed to. And he's like, wow, that's brilliant. No one's ever said anything like that to me before. He goes, I didn't even know what a chiropractor did until you took 2 minutes out of your busy night to talk to me about what chiropractic is and what it isn't. And I was like, yeah, dude, I just want you to know that if you ever need anything, if you need direction to find a good DC, he's like, what's that? I go, Doctor of Chiropractic. I was like, if you need anything from me, here's my card. Listen to one of the episodes of the Chiro Hustle podcast. And he's like, yeah, dude, I just moved here like last week to go to college here. And I was like, look, here's my card. Reach out to me anytime. If you do ever want to find a good chiropractor, I'm your guy. And I was like, I just want to be your advocate and help you out. And like, he was just blown away. I was so open to tell him like the truth behind chiropractic.
Awesome, man. Great job. There's no better feeling when you get to share that story and you can see that light bulb go off. And I know when my light bulb went off, I was never the same. Seriously, I remember the first time I heard the principle delivered at this chiropractor's office in Austin, Texas, and the light bulb hit, man. I'm like, I got two choices. I can keep my head in the sand and forget what I just heard, or I'll forever be different, because now everything I thought I believed has been challenged and I was wrong. And now I have to think completely different. And for a lot of people, you throw that monkey wrench into their theology, it can be disruptive. But that's what I love about you, Jim. You come from a place of caring about somebody and loving people. And we've come from that place, not a judgmental place or hey, I'm right, you're wrong. When we come from a place of love, compassion, and hey, I was just like you, and I went through those things, and this is what I had to do. When you come from that place, man, that's real power right there. So I love that about you, buddy.
Yeah, man. And it's just, we all have gentle hearts. We just have to learn how to channel them to people around us, because everybody wants to have more support and love. We just have to figure out how to communicate how we really feel to each other. And that being said, I am going to do that challenge sometime in February. So when I do my first fast, I'm going to go live 3 times that day and talk to people about my mental challenges. I'm going to talk to people about how I'm feeling. I'm going to talk to people about, what it might be. And then we'll feature the SCT oil for them again. And that's when I'll start my fat, whatever you call it, protocol, and my fat stacking or whatever it is, fat loading. And
adapted, baby. So you can cruise that fast, and dude, you're going to come out of that fast. You're going to be a changed man. I'm telling you right now. So let me help you. I got you, buddy. We're going to get you prepped, ready. You're going to blow it away, and that's going to happen.
But it's really cool that I can share that and be vulnerable with people too. And I think a lot of times we feel like we're fighting a battle by ourselves, and we don't feel like anybody's really out there supporting us, especially with the way we're super hyper, attacked with information and choices, and everything's binging and clinging around us. And we got a message here and a message there, and we have to be social and all these things that we're trained to do. But I appreciate you supporting me through that, the first one, and hopefully the second one and the third one. And let's see if we can't make me the healthiest version of Jim Chester in 2018.
I love it, baby. Let's do it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the Chiro Hustle live stream. This episode is brought to you by Chiro Wealth Management. If you guys want to unsubluxate your financial future, reach out to Todd Calamita. And just like Russell Simmons always used to say at Def Comedy Jam, good night and God bless. Love every single one of you.
God bless.
All right, we'll see you.
Thank you for listening to Chiro Hustle Live. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.